What are some signs that your ex misses you even if they're pretending not to? That's what we're going to be talking about in this video. Hi there, my name is Clay with modernlove.life, and today we are talking about 5 signs that your ex misses you even if they are pretending not to. Breakups can be a really complex and confusing situation to be in because oftentimes after a breakup, we feel this need to compete with our ex or to make it seem as if we came out of the breakup better off. So it causes people to put on a heavy posturing attitude of trying to make it seem as if they have everything under control, everything is wonderful, all that sort of stuff. Many times this is actually not true at all, and people are of course going through a normal human experience of heartbreak, loss, etc. Before we go ahead and jump to some sort of conclusion that your ex has completely moved on, has never felt anything for you or anything extreme like that, let's talk about 5 signs that they actually are having a difficult time going through this whole breakup as well too. And some of these are going to be a little bit surprising because we're looking beneath the external surface and looking more at the motivation for the actions that they're taking. So let's just go ahead and get right into this. So the first one is that they keep coming up with, practical or maybe not so practical reasons for being in contact with you. Now, of course, after a breakup, there are often many practical things that need to be discussed. Like, oh my goodness, we both share this phone account, or we both need to divvy up our rent, or things like that. And of course, if you are going to break up with someone, regardless of whether or not you're going to work things out and get back together or just go your separate ways and live separate lives, there are probably practical things to work out. And ideally people would just get them sorted out, and if they're going to move on, they're going to move on. However, if your ex is constantly finding reasons to be in contact with you, then that is going to be one of the big signs that, hey, maybe they do miss you, even if they're trying to put on this opaque face that, hey, I don't miss you, I'm fine, all that sort of stuff. Oh, by the way, we just need to talk about our phone bill. By the way, we just need to deal with the rent payment or something like that, right? If they are doing this, it is potentially a sign. How, of course, they could just be legitimately trying to hammer out the practicalities. But, if they really wanted to, they'd probably just do it all in one fell swoop. Which leads us to the second sign here, which is that they're contacting you in a more intimate way than they really need to. Many of these practicalities can be sorted out via email or text message. Hey, I just wanted to send you this quick email, just, here's the, phone bill, let's split it 50-50 or whatever the case might be. But if they're calling you up, or if they are wanting to meet up to discuss some of these things, then that's probably also a sign that they are missing you or that they want to connect with you in a deeper sort of way. Now, we have something called the hierarchy of communication, which covers, lower things such as text messaging and email, and then moves into higher things like talking on the phone, video calls, or meeting up in person. The higher up on that hierarchy, the closer to a face-to-face meetup you are, the better the quality of the connection is going to be, because you're actually able to see each other's facial expressions, body language, hear each other's voices, things of that nature. And so we do want to strive towards having an in-person interaction if at all possible, or at least as close to in-person interaction as we can get given the circumstances. However, if your ex is striving to do that as well too, it's probably because they miss you and they want to feel close to you in some way. The third sign that they are missing you, even if they're pretending not to, is that they actually go out of their way to justify why the two of you can't be together. This is especially true if they broke up with you. If they broke up with you, they may feel a strong pull to get back together with you because they miss you, or because the two of you have a high quality emotional connection, or something along those lines. Very common, very normal. However, there's also this force that they're kind of going against the grain, which is so that they want to connect with you, they want to get close to you, they miss you, but they also feel in a certain sense that they have painted themselves into a corner because they have made this choice. They've said, hey, let's break up, whatever reason, we're arguing all the time, I can't trust you, whatever. And so they feel like they have to dig their heels into their prior decisions. This is what we call the law of consistency. As they do this, they're going to be grasping for reasons why they made the right choice. And the more trivial these justifications could be, the more likely it is that they actually do miss you and they actually do want to be close to you. There could be legit reasons why the two of you aren't getting back together or why the two of you did break up in the first place. But if this is coming up sort of out of nowhere, or especially if the two of you are seemingly connecting pretty well, then it's probably a sign that they miss you and they're just trying to convince themselves that they made the right choice. This is something we get into in the 5 stages of getting back together. Your ex's 5 emotional stages that they go through in terms of getting back together that really help to clarify a lot of this, because they are going through this process of getting closer to you, doubting the choices that they're making, getting closer to you, doubting themselves, and so on and so forth. So there is going to be this journey. We'll get into more of that later. The 4th sign that your ex misses you is if they are, on social media. Like, oftentimes people do follow up on their ex and keep an eye on their ex on social media. If you notice that they are posting things, sharing things, experiences of your time together, maybe not necessarily of like, hey, do you remember when me and my ex went on this trip to Mexico or something like that? Like, that's one thing. But if they just are talking about that general period of time, then that is also an indication, especially if they're talking about it positively, then it's also an indication that they miss you and they're looking back positively on the time that you had together. And this also goes for just sort of a general nostalgia about the past, your time together, things like that. So that's actually sign number 5 as well too, is if they're looking back on chapters of their life that they shared with you, even if they're not directly talking about specific experiences that they had with you, they are probably missing you, even if they are not admitting it. And you might get this either from things that they're posting online, conversations that they're having with mutual friends, or things that you're just able to pick up through their behavior in other ways. I mean, maybe you're even actually still in contact with them and they're looking back positively on these moments that the two of you shared, for example. These are some of the signs that your ex misses you, even if they are pretending not to. Now, the most important thing through all of this is understanding your ex's emotional world. Because if you can understand what they're going through emotionally, then you'll be able to anticipate what is driving sometimes their confusing behavior, and more importantly, what they might potentially do next moving forward, okay? So one of the things that I suppose I'm somewhat well known for is what we call the 5 stages your ex goes through in the process of getting back together. This includes the whole journey from, making the decision to break up with you, towards shutting down entirely, towards cautiously getting back in contact with you, towards hot and cold behavior, towards the, oh my goodness, I actually have feelings for you, but I'm reluctant to actually admit it and do something about it, towards actually getting back together. So if you haven't already, I would strongly recommend that you check out this video series over here on what we call the 5 stages of getting back together. A lot of people have found this to be incredibly helpful and insightful in understanding their ex's behaviors, their ex's motivations, and more importantly, what they can expect further on down the road. So please check out this video series here. Anyway, take care, and I'll talk to you next time.